Jorge, if I have one more of these Aperol slabs, I'm gonna file charges, I'm just saying. Oh hey! Hi, it's me, Wilma Fingerdoo, and I'm Untucked. I hope you are too, so let's get to it. Well, we started this episode off with the Safe Girls untucking first, and poor Shea Coulee, God bless her, she was so disappointed at just being safe that she couldn't enjoy it. Blair, on the other hand, was wrestling with her own demon, particularly that one where she feels she's being typecast as the young one. Gee, I'd like to be possessed by that demon once or twice, I'm just saying. Blair was also happy to have done well enough to be safe because, as she herself admitted, she's not known for her improv skills. Shea's disappointment at her not being in the top made her suspect that Alexis Mateo may very well be. And although she was being less bitter than I would have been in the same situation, she still couldn't help but ask, why not me? Why not me? That's how I do it. But they didn't linger on their own issues for long. Blair and Shea started to discuss the other girls, particularly Alexis, and whether or not she could be trusted. Wisely, Shea wasn't letting her enjoyment of working with Alexis lull her into a false sense of calm. In fact, it sounded to me like she was going to be keeping her eye on everybody. Good for Shea. While all that was going on, Morgan McMichaels, this week's secret lip-sync assassin, was getting ready a few studios over. And I'm super glad that she had a chance to kind of go over some of the highlights from her experience on RuPaul's Drag Race, because Lord knows I needed a refresher. Season 2 was a long time ago. Back in the workroom, Shea and Blair had moved on to who they thought would possibly be in the top. Well, besides Alexis, Mayhem Miller's name came up, but I think only as the lesser of two evils from her team. And from the rest of Blair's team, no one. Go figure. Personally, I thought at least Juju would have got an honorable mention in there for Top Queen, but no. And no for Cracker. Oddly enough, neither of them brought up Cracker or Juju's name. Maybe they were distracted by the fact that the rest of the queens had returned to the room. And, for the most part, they all said it was an enjoyable experience. I have to admit, I was very happy to hear that Mayhem admit that she did have a little bit of attitude on stage, because even Helen Keller could tell that she did. Seriously. Then, after Juju received some unnecessary wig shade, it was off to vote. And then the queens returned to the main stage, where we now know Morgan McMichaels was the lip-sync assassin and that Mayhem Miller was the queen voted off this week. By even herself! Gasp. Someone else who gasped was Michelle Visage, who dropped by for another farewell visit. She could not believe that Mayhem had voted for herself, and I personally couldn't believe that Mayhem admitted that she did. I mean, it's not like she didn't. But still, I still don't understand why she didn't vote for India. I did. But I will say this, sachet or not, I am super glad that Michelle called Mayhem out for her toot on the runway. And I'm very proud of Mayhem for not denying it. Yes, it's the judge's job to judge. But then brace yourself for the reaction. Drag queens or not, they're still humans. Well, most of them. So, as Mayhem de-dragged, she got another visit, this time from, her best friend in the world, Morgan McMichaels. And I just have to say, it was very, very touching to see the two of them get misty with each other and compliment each other, and for Morgan to say that she's a better person because of her friendship with Mayhem. I think it's important for everybody to have friends like that. And even if you only have one, you are ahead of the pack. I don't mean to brag, but I've got a couple of friends like that. And then Morgan and Mayhem's friendship was tested because, Morgan offered to help Mayhem pack, which I'm sure was just an empty gesture to make up for her erroneous romper read. Oh, and you all know that was my drag queen name in high school. And so, with an overlarge lipstick message on the mirror, it was with sadness in our hearts that we said goodbye to Mayhem Miller. Well, what do you think? 6 girls left. Are you sorry that Mayhem left? Are you surprised, like I was, that she voted for herself, which is really just another way of saying, I give up, I quit. I just was surprised by that. I mean, not that it would have done her any harm. I mean, I think it was a unanimous vote with hers in. But still, sad to see. She's a good queen. I was impressed with her growth. I felt that we didn't get to see as much of her in her original season of Drag Race, and I felt she brought a little bit more to the table. Still kind of flying under the radar on well, compared to the bigger personalities, that's for sure. So, there you go. There's this week's Untucked done. We got another episode of Drag Race next week. It's Snatch Game of Love. I was talking to a couple of people on the tubes about this. We were wondering when, they didn't do Snatch Game with 8 queens. Will they do it with 6? Well, Snatch Game of Love had 6. Oh, they couldn't be doing that. That sucks so hard. Well, apparently they are. So, we'll have lots to talk about next week, I'm sure. So, until then, please stay untucked as long as you can. Don't forget to keep your hands clean and watch out for that social distancing. Just because we're allowed outside doesn't mean we need to have an orgy. Socially, I mean. What? Until next week, miss me! Mwah! Seriously. Oh, this is my last slap, Jorge.